Hey everyone, Sergeant Howard here, Leon County Sheriff's Office, Community Media Relations, with, of course, our lovely PIO, Dave Teams. Hey, I'm getting it right. It's
taking a few months, but I got it.
Also, our special guest today is Lieutenant Lee Majors.
Hello.
He is actually over our Aviation Unit, and so we, every Wednesday we try to go to different areas of the agency and kind of show you, and we haven't been here yet.
That's true.
You all are a major part of how we're able to fight crime.
That is true.
Lieutenant, if you would just kind of give us a little bit of history information about the Aviation Unit.
Sure. So the Sheriff's Office in Leon County has been operating helicopters since 1974. Sheriff Hamlin decided that we needed that capability. We've had that continuously since then. So 45 years now, we were one of the pioneers in the state of Florida doing this. And it started with the Bell 47 that was like on the one on MASH, that type helicopter, and have progressed since then into what we're flying now. Yeah, so we've been here a long time doing this. We have.
Awesome. And Lieutenant, if you don't mind, how long have you been doing this?
So I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 34 years, and most of that time in some capacity or another has been here with aviation. Yes.
Awesome. And so, like, what all do you guys do?
So our primary job is to assist the deputies and police officers on the ground. We know from the military that having the high point gives you an advantage in any battle, and it's the same way in this. So we are just the eyes in the sky that have the bigger picture than somebody on the ground. So the things that we can kind of help with are, fleeing suspects, missing person searches, missing boaters, missing people, these type of things. These are things that are a daily occurrence for us.
Well, you guys don't just do law enforcement functions. There's a lot of other things that you guys help the community out with. And one of the things that surprised me when I got here was that you guys help with mosquito control.
That's correct, and that's one of the founding things that this unit started with. So for a portion of the year, one of our aircraft is assigned to do mosquito control duties, and some of our pilots are certified aerial applicators to do that. So what that does for us is in South Florida, you have to have mosquito control all the time, or you couldn't live there. North Florida, we don't have it. It's kind of seasonal. So they bring the mosquito control, puts their gear on our aircraft. Our pilots and aircraft do the application. The taxpayers get the benefit of both without having to pay two agencies to do that. Everybody comes out of it.
So you got to pull some stats for us, and I always have to read the stats. Sure. So tell us a little bit about what you guys did last year in Leon County.
Okay, so 2018, pull the stats here. We flew 700 hours, responded to 3,300 calls. 3,300 calls the aircraft was on in 2018. Of those, we assisted in 313 arrests, 61 lost person searches, assisted in the recovery of 58 stolen vehicles. This is an important one. 86 calls were times when a vehicle failed to stop for a law enforcement officer. Now, we couldn't pursue them because we know what that's all about. But in the aircraft, we can follow that vehicle until it stops, and in most cases, we can apprehend the suspect.
Well, you guys had a case the other day that we actually put on our Facebook page where Chapel Circle Northwest and Clark Street, car ran for the deputies. You guys followed it with the deputies following at a safe distance at a safe speed. You guys followed all the way out to Bareback Drive, watched them switch into a different vehicle, something that we wouldn't have been able to do because we're not going to chase them just for that part of it. So it's important to be able to catch people that are obviously trying to get away from us, and you guys can get them in the right place.
Absolutely, and again, that high ground, the fact that we could do it when a patrol deputy cannot, is what made the difference in that apprehension.
That bird's eye view type deal.
That's right.
And I know one of the stats you actually put out there was looking for missing persons.
Right.
One of the things that we do is Project Lifesaver.
Right.
If you guys missed it, we did a segment actually on Project Lifesaver and how we look for people, whether it's Alzheimer's or whether they have dementia. So then you all are able to assist as well, not just the deputies out on patrol, but you all.
Absolutely.
So that helps. You have the gear for the aircraft to be able to go up, and so whereas you have a much broader range.
That's right, and it's not unusual to find that person very far from where they start. I remember one in the middle of the night we went out on. We found her on the other side of town.
Wow.
Just on the way. Got a signal and found the vehicle.
And it would have been so difficult or taken us a lot longer to be able to locate him.
And we have somewhat perfected that. And just last week I was sharing with another agency that's going into that business on how we do it and how we've turned it into a very mechanical service.
Awesome. So we're also helping and train other agencies on using the equipment.
Right.
Awesome. And also, how many aircrafts do we have?
So the Sheriff's Office has 3 helicopters. That's what we've operated for a number of years now. And that's important. I mean, that seems like a lot, but take right now, for instance, one of them is down for maintenance. So that means you have 2. You have to be prepared for the unexpected, something breaks, whatnot. If you want one, you have to have 2.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And you guys are working 24/7.
We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Awesome.
Yeah. So some of the important things that you guys use, and looking at when you're trying to catch missing persons, and one of the things that we just talked about coming in, we get a lot of phone calls now over the last 2 or 3 months because of the issues with car burglaries. Right. We've got you guys out doing patrols. So when you see that, you told me this is the spotlight that you guys use back here on the back of the helicopter searchlight. So when you see that over your neighborhood, this is what they're going on. It's not that they're specifically, they may be looking for somebody, but it also may be that they're looking around just to try and make sure everyone's aware that we're out there.
Or trying to be that presence, which may keep the bad guy from coming to your neighborhood and trying to break into your car.
Tell us a little bit about what's on the front here with the FLIR.
So up on the front is the thermal imager, which allows us to see at night utilizing heat. So very much like we see with our eyes utilizing light, this does the same thing utilizing heat differential.
And FLIR stands for forward-looking infrared.
Forward-looking infrared. Right. Hence the heat differential.
I had to learn that a while back, so I'm going to throw it out.
Right.
And excuse y'all, we are out here by the airport, so it's kind of loud. So if it sounds like we're yelling, we are. We want y'all to hear us. There are airplanes out here. But we also want to show you all the inside of the cockpit, if you would say, for the helicopter, for Lieutenant, to kind of give you all an idea of what all the equipment looks like.
Sure. So if you can see in here, in the cockpit here, there's a lot going on here. So just like in a car, we have a computer monitor that is all of our mapping and where we see our cameras and whatnot. The keyboard that goes along with that. Multiple radios in here. We can talk to any county in our police department, sheriff's office, fire department in our 13 county region, and all the Georgia and western counties of us. We already have pre-programmed. We can talk to them on a moment's notice. All of this portion is the flight instruments, and the pilot's gear is over here. And everything on that side is what the tactical flight officer is using to do his job. Hand controllers, of course, for cameras and searchlights and whatnot. And anything we see in here, we can send down to the ground real time to the crime center or deputies in their car or police officer, so they can see what we see. We can give them that bird's eye view from the ground.
What's it like to and obviously you love flying. You've been doing it for 30 years. And what's it like to be able to come in every day and just do what you love?
I think this is great. It lets us make a huge contribution to what the sheriff's office is doing, the crime fight that we're doing in a very unique way. And I think we bring a lot to the table. The equipment is great, but the equipment's not what does the job. It's the pilots, the guys on the crew here that do this. You have to have the drive to want to make a difference, and that's what makes a difference.
Lieutenant, you're talking about the pilots and the guys. So how many guys do you have in this unit?
So right now we have 4 full-time pilots. I have 4 part-time pilots / tactical flight officers and 1 full-time mechanic.
So you guys stay busy.
Yes, absolutely.
between all of you all. And so if someone were interested and want to become a pilot or preparing, we have kids maybe that are like, they see you, oh, I want to be a pilot. What should they start doing to prepare?
Well, like any job like ours, first thing is do good in school.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get anywhere if you don't have an education. So that would be the first piece of that. And then look at like what area you want to go to in aviation. This job isn't for everybody. There's other people that might like aviation but want to be an airline pilot or whatnot. So just like with any other career, look around and see what you want to do. But here, it's a little unusual because we have all of the deputy sheriff qualifications that we have to maintain and all of the pilot things. So there's a lot of training that goes on here, a lot of recurrent training. It's just a daily part of what we do. So look around, keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, do good in school. That's the biggest thing for.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing is we're always out there in the community talking to the kids, and we tell them, without an education you can't do anything. Without your grades, you really can't go anywhere. Make sure you're going to college or a vocational school. So all this is very interesting, and all your equipment, being able to provide this information to the deputies out on patrol, to the citizens. Again, we were able to share one of the videos to show how you guys are working. But we really appreciate you guys being out here. I know you guys are training. You guys are gonna get ready to do some sort of like a simulation, kind of show you all what it's like for them to take off on the helicopter. So we're gonna get our guys to go ahead and come out here in just a second.
Yeah, crew's
You guys
gonna be
will
out.
talk about, I'm gonna go grab that.
We'll talk about storm.
Sure, yeah, let's talk about, so one of the things that they did do, and I forgot about that, thank you. One of the things that they did do was when Hurricane Michael came through, you guys assisted in several different ways. Talk about that a little bit.
Right. So the first thing was we evacuated because none of this equipment's any good if it's damaged during a storm. So that storm was close enough, tripped the trigger, that we evacuated all the aircraft. The next morning, we briefed at 3:30 in the morning and left Ocala at 5 a.m. coming back this way. We landed here before the airport even opened, and we had people waiting on us.
Here they come.
As long as you can with you.
All right, so they're going to take a simulation real quick to let us know what's going on. While we're waiting on them to whirl up and get everything going, it's going to take a few minutes. Talk a little bit about what else you guys did.
So during the storm, our first missions out were taking communications gear to places they couldn't get a hold of. So Calhoun County, Gulf County, they had nobody to talk to see what had happened. So we loaded up communications gear and flew it to those areas. I had to take another one of the first flights. The first one always after a storm is for City Electric, to go run all the transmission lines that have gone offline so they can repower those and get the city back onto get the power back on in a hurry. So that was the first two out of the box.
Right, and it gives them an idea also as the damage to those lines and what they may have to go out and try to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely.
I know you guys sent us some of the pictures from when Hurricane Michael came through, and you got to see, I know you guys had to land actually fly one of the prisons, one of the state prisons, to make sure, because they couldn't speak to them at all.
That's right.
They had no contact whatsoever. Then you had brought somebody in to help out. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, what the kind of damage and everything that you saw that you guys got to see from up top.
Sure. So that was the first flight for me. It was to Gulf Correctional to take some officials in there to assess damage there, which they had to evacuate in that prison. To me, one of the most interesting things was being in a place with no communication. You know, we all walk around with a radio and 2 cell phones now, and we can talk to anybody. But the true isolation of being in Mexico Beach 2 days after the storm, when you could talk to nobody, that was truly eye-opening. It really was.
All right, so here we go. They're getting ready to go out.
airspace here in Tallahassee. We were under positive control for the tower, so at this point they're getting their clearance to be able to depart.
All right, so just to put it out there, that was Deputy.
That was
My mind just went blank. Deputy John Rasmussen. I'm you all of a sudden. Deputy John Rasmussen and Sergeant Rick Tobacco.
Right.
The two that were in the helicopter. Of course, we have a brand new deputy we just hired that's actually going through our in-house training right now, which is Deputy Creighton Hall, who came over from FDLE. So he's got a lot to do. Yeah, you used to be with us. We can't keep him away. He's got to keep coming back to it. So great.
Yeah, and just in case you guys weren't able to hear, and y'all weren't able to see us about to fly away in here, the bad hair day just made it worse. But they're able to take off. And just in case you didn't hear, you were saying that they were having to negotiate.
Right. So, but because of our airspace here in Tallahassee is somewhat restrictive, so you can't just pick up and go. You have to request a clearance and be able to get that clearance before you can fly in their airspace.
That's
why it took a minute to do that. The weather had something to do with that.
Right. Well, actually, for you all, we were actually going to have our media specialist, Miss Melissa, was going to get in the helicopter so you all could see what it's like to be inside the helicopter and kind of get the bird's eye view from the helicopter. Unfortunately, weather is not working with us so great, so we weren't going to do that, unfortunately. But we will try to do that for another time. Hopefully during the summer, nice and bright and sunny and hot. So we'll be able to try to do that again.
Let's do it.
But again, thank you, Lieutenant.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the guys up in the air. You guys are busting your butts just like the rest of the deputies, and we really appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And the sun comes out as we're ending.
As we're ending, yes.
That's the way it works, right?
Yes. But thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thanks.